What a smart room. I can already feel it. I'm James. I truly hate putting my picture on anything. Bless this slide, for I have sinned. I've been a designer, developer, entrepreneur, CEO, product manager, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. I started writing React way back in 2015 when I stumbled on the idea of a headless CMS, which now I think is just a bunch of lies. You might have heard me talk about that before. A headless CMS just means that it doesn't have a front end. It only has an API. But it's 2026. I'm pretty sure every single product has an API. So really headless just means half a CMS, and you still pay full price. So a bunch of lies. Anyways, I've always loved design. I've always loved front-end development. Nowadays, I do like full stack, of course, just like all of you. But most recently, I've been CEO of Payload, and our entire team joined Figma about a year ago. And for my team, we're all designers. We all came from a design background. It's been a perfect fit. And together, we have been working on some very cool things behind the scenes, which you will hear about in the near future. Keep an eye out. But I'm here to talk about how my alarm bells have been going off pretty hard recently. I'm more disturbed than I normally am, and I'm usually pretty disturbed. I think our AI overlords are going to make the web even more boring than it already is. And to test that theory, I went on Product Hunt recently, and I found just a few miscellaneous startups to see what everybody's up to. And I quickly got tired of this, so I'm going to make it quick, but let's play Guess the Startup. Great. Barely different. I've never seen that H1 treatment before. Look at the tasteful orange span. Anybody seen that? Ooh, big box shadow on that button. Super nice. Okay, enough of that. Mediocrity has a very strong gravitational pull. Let's talk about how to escape it, about the change that we're seeing in our jobs and how that changes what actually matters. Our jobs are shifting from implementation to intention. And that shift is because just about everyone in this room has contributed to making software better. We did a very good job. It worked, clearly. We fed robots the entire internet because they looked hungry. We made software so good so that robots are now creating robots that write all of our code for us, and they're about to burn it all down, which is going to be great. But for real, I think Payload is a good example of how we as engineers constantly find better abstractions and build better tools for ourselves to use. It's all about abstractions. We're many layers of the onion out at this point, but we're nowhere near the end. And we pretty much did most of it line by line from scratch before the LLM. I think Sam Altman is famous for making a joke about that, but I barely remember that. It's hard to write code line by line nowadays. Also, shout out to Basement for the super slick Shader Lab toolkit that they just released. I think a bunch of you have probably already seen that. If you haven't tried Payload with an LLM yet, you should. It's pretty crazy. We have skills, just like everything, but they're honestly not even really that dialed in yet. LLMs are just super good at Payload already. That's because if you haven't seen it, it's a config-based approach. So you just write a simple TypeScript config. It's very declarative. It's very concise. You can't screw it up, which means robots can't either. And from that single config, you get everything. It just all spawns out of that config. You get REST APIs, GraphQL, Node SDKs, all fully typed. You get a super clean database, just like you would hand roll it yourself from scratch with like alter table, add column, everything like that. You don't have to do all that in Payload. It's like a bunch of Lego blocks that you can combine to quickly build whatever you want. You don't open every CRUD endpoint by yourself, though. You don't maintain a separate database schema and separate types. You don't build out the back office. Everything just flows from that single config. And leave all the boilerplate to the node modules. That's what Payload is here for. And one more thing about Payload is that the config-based nature makes it super token efficient as well. Like if you've ever used Claude Code to design something like build an app from scratch, you have to open up all these endpoints, you have to define your access control, you have to implement row-level security, you have to do all this stuff. But if it's batteries included, you don't have to do that. So like, it's just an example of like, as we search for better abstractions, things get a little bit easier, the world is changing. Payload is cool today. It's going to remain open source. We have an MIT license. But we're building out a lot of things with Figma. We have a lot more resources, a lot of new faces. The team has expanded. We're really working on changing the way that content design and code all come together, and that they have a bigger relationship than it might seem on the surface level. Like, call Payload a CMS if you want to, but content and code and design are like what make up applications. I can't tell you everything that we're building right now. It's going to come out soon, but keep an eye out. Actually, if you have eagle eyes, you may have spotted some new things on that last slide, but too late. Just watch the recording, I guess, or keep tabs on us. But some things that I can say today, if you know about Payload, you know that we're built on Next.js, which means that you can run everything in your existing Next.js app. Headless CMS, you usually run it over here, and then you have your front end over there, and you have to keep them in sync. But with Payload, you just plop it in your app folder, and you're good to go. It's a big differentiator for us. This helped make our downloads over 4x over the last 12 months, and I think people really like this about us. I really like Next.js, but the game plan was never to just put Payload only in Next.js apps. We're about to let you natively add Payload into any TanStack app as well. Tanner? Somewhere? Yeah, we're coming for you. Lots of you have been asking for this. It's going to be pretty cool. We have a PR. Payload is already very abstracted. You can bring whatever database you want. You can use Postgres or SQLite or MongoDB or whatever. So one of our 10Xers, Sasha, just went further and built out a new abstraction layer that basically allows us to support more than just one front-end framework as well. This is very cool. You can follow along on GitHub. It's almost there. It'll probably ship with Payload 4.0, which is coming out soon as well. It's super fast. TanStack is great. The developer experience is great. Soon you'll be able to drop the full Payload architecture right into a TanStack app. Oh. Where'd that come from? For the record, that meme is inaccurate. I like Next.js a lot, but I can see why people like TanStack as well, and I think it's a smart move as an open source company for us to give options. So it aligns with our principles. Thank you. I'm pumped, but okay, moving on. My selfish Payload moment is over. I'm a human. I'm selfish. So we got a good handle on code nowadays. It's more approachable. It's more efficient than ever. I actually find it strangely cathartic to force a robot to just go rip for a while on some of my ideas. I'm pretty AI-pilled. I'm sure most of you are. If you're not, you'll get there. And okay, little segue. I don't know what to put on this slide, so I thought maybe I'd ask for the robots to help. And because we're at React Miami, I should probably talk about React for a little bit, maybe. So here's me talking about React. Cool. React got a new feature for me to feed the robots who can't taste. And I got failed. My prompt must have just been bad. Thanks a lot for the Shutterstock image from 2005, Google. Really good. Is it just me, or does this stuff not hit the same anymore? I used to get fired up about new React features, and I still do. But nowadays, mostly I'm like, sweet, the robots are going to love this. Don't get me wrong. I actually am a big RSC fan. We use React server components a lot in Payload. I love everything that React has been doing lately. I love every time Payload gets a free bump in performance from React getting faster, or the Next.js team finding some weird thing that I don't even understand and patching it and just getting new performance optimizations. I can just feel my focus shifting to other things. For example, the web has looked very similar in a real bad way for a very long time now. This joke was made in 2016. Which one of the two possible websites are you designing? And you still recognize them, right? Not a lot has changed. And AI is going to make this a lot worse. But were we ever any better? Was this stuff ever any good? I have no idea. I can't remember. I was a punk back then. But look at the variety. I chose Metal Gear. I put that on this page for a purpose because Metal Gear is awesome. I have a tattoo of Metal Gear. Don't do that. But the skateboarding website on the bottom right is so different from the Apple website, obviously. Sure, I have no idea what I can click on that skateboarding website, but oh well, let it rip. We're skateboarders. Who cares? Anybody remember Depth Core? No? 0 of you. Wow, I'm really old. Okay, that's great. One of you does, I know that. Top left is old school PlayStation, so we better get a better look at that one. What is happening here? I do not remember this game at all. I think we're in the Matrix. That seems fake. The evil swine return. Wow. You do. Good game.
Not Game of the War, not Game of the Year award, but like good time waster.
Okay, what about Metal Gear? Is it better or worse than Metal Gear? Okay, I like you. All right, we're on the same page. That's Comic Sans, I think, right in the middle. Look at the search bar. At least everything was unique. Obviously, Winamp being the GOAT, but say what you want if this stuff is good. Who the hell knows what good means anyways? But it was creative. And everywhere you looked, people were pushing boundaries. They were poking, they were prodding, they were seeing what worked, they were slicing in Photoshop. We kind of lost all this. And I'm pretty sure this is the guy in the background that was making all those websites, a real webmaster. But where can I get more of this guy's creativity? Some of the magic. Where did everyone's creativity go? I'm pretty sure that conversion probably ate most of it. CTA, big H1, snappy hero message, mega menus. To be fair, we got pretty good at conversion. Fewer clicks, faster flows, higher conversion. The man is happy. He's real happy. Faster, cleaner, correct. Hell, I feel like I just took a shower when I use anything from Linear. It's so clean. But they actually toned it down big time. I'm sure you all remember the purple phase. I bet they toned it down because everyone started copying that purple vibe so hard. They're probably solely responsible for the whole prompt in, purple website out situation. The good thing, I don't think that the magic has completely disappeared though. I love PostHog as an example of this. Their brand is amazing. The whole team is amazing. If you follow them on LinkedIn, it's hilarious. It's too cute for me personally. I could never pull it off, but still props where they're due. For the most part, though, I think we actively, deliberately squeezed out all of the magic from the internet. We optimized it out. We A/B tested it straight out of existence. So if I want to get it back, where did it come from in the first place? Because it definitely did not come from overly stiff design systems, too prescriptive components. It didn't come from conversion tests, and it did not come from best practices. It came from people messing around, trying stuff, doing stuff that absolutely did not make any sense, doing things that should not have worked, but with enough iteration, somehow they started to work. And we can use our discretion, our judgment, our instinct. We can take risks. We can find new frontiers. We don't usually call that taste, but that's what taste is. And we have it. But whose job is this? This is a room of software engineers. Is this on the developer? Is this on the front-end developer? Do developers need good taste? Isn't that the designer's job? I don't think so. Front-end has a huge role in defining what good actually is. We just don't talk about it enough that way. And I bet many of us are very content to just completely dodge the responsibility of pushing boundaries and being creative. Instead, we only talk about performance, structure, clean APIs. Clean API tastes pretty good. Nice, crispy API, kind of like a fridge sig. In case you didn't know, that's what the kids call a Diet Coke. Also, this is a new ChatGPT model that just came out. Did pretty good. But fun fact, before that model came out, I tried Nano Banana for this, that last slide, and it said, nope, here you go, idiot. It's wrong. You're welcome. It was a dumb joke anyway. So yeah, we front-end developers have been pushing systems on our designers, saying, hey, we need to use Bootstrap back in the day. Just by putting this logo in this slide deck, I have triggered myself. I never used Bootstrap, not once, out of pride. I have built so many buttons from scratch. But we've also way over-indexed on reuse. And say what you will about Tailwind, I'm still triggered from this slide. You might know that about me. I don't have anything against Tailwind, and I've used it, but we just optimize for different things. We say no to our designers' ideas a lot. That's not reusable enough. We're not going to build that as a one-off for you because you want it. Sorry, you're out of your mind. That's not possible with today's known technology. Spoiler alert, this was possible, and we built it. But in the end, front-end developers did make things a lot better. We definitely made it better for ourselves, but also for the people that use our products. Along the way, we also made everything look the same. But the web could get weird again. We're actually getting cool new tools that will allow us to push further. You may have all heard of HTML and Canvas. That's a good example. Things are changing. It's our job to know that. This is big. Obviously, don't turn everything into a duck hunt game like Wes did. But if you tone it down maybe a couple 1,000%, then this could make for some pretty cool interactions. For example, the way that this works, Canvas, you might know, it is a standalone DOM element, and you can get HTML into a canvas, but it's slow and it's inaccessible. And once you go Canvas, you can't go back. That means generally Canvas can't interact with your HTML or your React code. It could be slow, it could be inaccessible. It's usually just a bad idea to over-index on this, but until now, HTML and Canvas fixes those problems. So like this form here, you can imagine having some really interesting interactions going on that Canvas effects can apply directly to your regular React code. The possibilities are pretty cool. And just think about all the horrible dark UI that we could build. We can be so hostile. Don't do this. Pretty funny though. I like the very straightforward tweet that goes with this. We got to figure out how to wield this stuff. We have to figure out how to apply it tastefully. It's our job to figure out what to build, and the possibilities are expanding. As front-end developers, we sit in a pretty unique spot. We know what's actually possible in the browser, what's a good idea, what's a bad idea, and what's easy, what's hard, and more importantly, what's newly possible that no one's even thinking about yet. Designers don't always know that. Product doesn't always know that. Ask me how I know. I am a product manager nowadays. But you do. And we can bring that knowledge to the table. And that's always been the job. It's always had two parts to it. You have the thinking and then the assembling. And to be clear, I used to love the assembly part. Writing clean code, structuring things well, arguing about tabs versus spaces. I used to find a lot of enjoyment out of defining a really nice abstraction, like a functional approach to something. I don't do that by hand anymore, but getting everything fast and correct, finding optimization, and finding 10 more. But honestly, that part is super easy. Not because I got that much better, I did, but because the tools did. And if that part is getting easier, then the thinking part becomes a lot more important. The thinking, the taste. What we choose to build, how it should feel, why it should exist at all. And we also have this. I think this slide pretty much goes without explaining. The tools we have nowadays are absolutely wild. And all these tools mean that a lot of the constraints that we used to face are completely gone. We now put in a lot less effort to get a lot more output. What do we do with this newfound efficiency? Do we do more of the same? And to make it worse, with the rise of our new AI overlords, anyone can build anything. Hold on to your butts. Everything's going to get even more boring. Are we developers still special? How do we still be special? My wild friend came into the office the other day super pumped about something that he built. He's pretty techie, very determined, no doubt, but he is not a designer, nor an engineer. But he built this whole commercial development map that scrapes all the local news sources for a city, plots out all the real estate developments in the city. It uses a tech stack that I couldn't even come up with from a fever dream. It stores data in Google Sheets, because why not? It sources them from RSS feeds, pulls all that stuff from Google Apps Scripts, which I didn't even know was a thing, on a regular cadence. I don't know what the front-end framework was that he chose. No one knows. I wouldn't choose this stack, but does it matter? This gave me paranoia when I saw it. I'm like, it works. It looks good. It's fast. And I thought it was awesome, honestly. And he did it by himself. I read this analogy from Emil Kowalski the other day. When the Model T first started puttering around, nobody cared about what it looked like, how aerodynamic it was, the silhouette. Just look at the windshield. That thing is a kite. This thing is not meant to do anything. It just had to beat a horse. That was the bar. If this thing can outpace a horse, then we're good. But once everyone had a car and we figured out how to build them more easily, that stopped being enough. Now a car has to evoke an emotion, look different, drive differently, mean something. That's where all the energy goes nowadays, and the bar is much higher. Obviously, being a Porsche fanboy, I had to go with the GT3 RS for this slide. But this is the exact moment that software is in right now. We're still early. The future is long. And in my opinion, all this newfound efficiency should be buying all of us a new level of ambition. Not just more software. We should be using it to produce better software. And I went through YC with Payload, and they have this advice, do things that don't scale, which sounds great until you realize that the things that don't scale are also the things that you subconsciously avoid. Talking to users, making weird decisions, doing something that might not work, taking risks, pushing past the safe zone. It's a lot easier to stay in cookie cutter land where everything is clean, repeatable, safe. I always loved this advice, but damn, ironically, I think Paul Graham should maybe scale the design of his website. And I know that's YC's thing, but for real, like, I can't deal with this. Like, I know it's their thing, but I don't like it. Another thing you probably don't want to do because you're a developer is work with a team. You just sit there talking to a box all day, you're probably not going to find a new edge inside the box. The interesting stuff comes from the friction, from the back and forth, from one person saying, what if we tried this instead, and someone else pushing it further. It comes from teamwork. It comes from collaboration. I love how Rasmus puts this. I saw this on X the other day. Design is methodical. It's like architecture. It's not like art. You need to poke and prod at the right solution. A great result comes from a deliberate process with a team and a lot of iteration. If I ever build something myself in a vacuum, it ends up looking like this slide deck. And I've not changed since 2010. Last night I saw a video from Stripe's head of design about their new website, the new Stripe website. You should check it out. It's beautiful. It's very Stripe. Obviously, Stripe is top tier, but they've been blowing my mind since like 2013. It was super inspiring to see this deep dive into their website, their process to even dial in the single ribbon effect on their homepage. How much blur? How much noise? What's the palette? How do we even build this thing so that it doesn't set your CPU on fire? Craft, taste, comes from the design process, and the process involves more than just you in a box. AI is involved, no doubt. You use it to come up with 20 ideas, and then you reduce, refine, down to one. Average is automated. Everything is easier, everything looks the same. AI raises the baseline. Good is now table stakes. So what actually matters? If anyone can build anything, what's the differentiator? It's taste. That's not polish, that's not performance, that's not correctness. It's judgment, it's point of view, it's restraint. You already have better taste than a robot, I hope. APIs, naming, flows, interactions, these are front-end decisions, these are taste decisions, but consistency, reuse, and scale led us to sameness. Everything you hate about the internet, we trained the model on. So now it's everywhere. It's faster, it's cheaper, it's harder to escape. You can keep making that super safe, optimized, correct, or you can make something else. You can take a risk. Something different, something weird, something specific, unique, loud, something that doesn't test well. Because average is free. And if it's free, it's not valuable. Robots can build it. They can optimize it. They can scale it. They can test it. They can't taste. But you can. Thanks, everybody.